Evening. Tonight, I really feel that I, in particular, stand at a crossroads of history. One side, hollow promises from Washington, led by Steve Witkoff. Wow, what a joke. What a joke he turned out to be, right? What a fucking joke. But you know, that's just everything when it comes to, you know, governance led by the two-party dictatorship, as Ralph Nader once put it in his prime. Words as empty from Witkoff as the starving stomachs of Gaza's children. On the other hand, our spirit of humanity too, burning bright with purpose, ready to shatter the chains of blockade and shame the world into fucking action. Look at her. Look at her. That's as much as I can really show. Isn't she fucking beautiful? I mean, she's gonna be beautiful. We ran a prototype. Spectacular success. And, you know, we've endured failures before. The Spirit of Humanity 1 stalled. SS Dignity, you know, sunk. But rising from the ashes, we will not cower. Cynthia did eventually, on her third try, break that blockade. It can be done. You know, we will not accept that convoy after convoy is turned away, that aid rots on the shores of indifference, that Christian charity is choked by politics. No, we'll break the fucking siege. So listen to me. Witkoff's comprehensive deal. Comprehensive deal, you say? Comprehensive deal. You know, that is nothing but theater, and I know quite a bit of theater. You know, I'm something of a thespian myself, and you know, that's really in some. You know, I'm going to be going over a course I was once gifted by Jesse Ventura at some point on politics is professional wrestling. And I'm super excited to cover that, but not as excited as I am to, you know, show off what determined minds can accomplish. Actually determined minds. You know, Witkoff's comprehensive deal is a grand illusion to hide the machinery of oppression. While he dangles captives as bargaining chips, Gaza bleeds. While he talks of one-time solutions, families starve 1 meal at a time. But, you know, I'm calling out his bluff tonight, right here. Remember, you know, Cynthia, McKinney, and George Galloway, undaunted, unafraid, they sailed through the blockade on a tide of moral outrage. They forced the headlines. They forced the world to watch. And we owe them for proving it. And but we also, more importantly, we owe every starving soul in Gaza no less than our absolute best. So here is the battle plan for the Spirit of Humanity 2. Assemble the armada, secure our vessels, equip them with life-saving supplies, and sail with unwavering purpose. Flank the siege, exploit every legal and political loophole, every sympathetic port, every spotlight-seeking journalist, turn their cameras toward starvation, expose the blockade for the crime against humanity that it is. To mobilize the faithful You know, to call on churches from Phoenix to Pittsburgh, your peers, your prayers, your offerings, to power this mission. You know, tonight you're going to hear the semi-detailed route that I've assembled for this proposal. The volunteer protocols, the international contacts standing by, perhaps. Tonight, you'll be more than spectators. You'll be co-captains of this courage. Because when politicians and technocrats lie, we shall deliver. When they turn their backs, we charge forward. When they say no passage, we say by any means necessary. And by God, we will see aid through. This is our hour. This is our spirit of humanity too, and we will not fail. So, you know, stay with me. Ask your questions. You know, I'm here for a bit tonight. You know, and email me at william@poundsforgovernor.com if you're an engineer and you want to talk calculations and scrutinize our blueprints, or if you're a donor who wants to make a pledge or an immediate donation, you know, great. You know, I've been working through a lot of this, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So, you know, the blockade breaks here. And, that, you know, that leads me to my, you know, my mission plan. You know, so, you know, we've secured 3 potential vessel constructions. SoHI Phoenix, the Justice Runner, and the Mercy Tide. So, each is planned to be stocked with 100,000 ready-to-eat humanitarian meals, 2,000 medical kits, you know, such as, you know, trauma dressings, antibiotics, you know, IV supplies, 500 water purification units, you know, stuff like that. And what we really need more is volunteers signing up. Again, email me at william@poundsforgovernor.com, and I'm gonna sort through all the willing volunteers who really want to put their heart and soul into this, because so really, honestly, all volunteers are gonna have to do is like bring an ID, you know, a signed liability waiver, you know, and your own life jacket. You know, we'll have extras, but you know, come prepared. You know, loading happens under radio silence. No photos, no leaks. It's really that simple. I'm like super excited. You know, our one of our onboard journalists, Kamal Hassan, I think, yeah, that's the name. You know, will stream 24/7. That's already been agreed upon, at least for SoHI Phoenix, and he, you know, that person, I'm told, has a lot. You know, has some pretty advanced streaming equipment, much more advanced than I have, and I'm super excited to set that up. So yeah, you know this. I am fully determined to follow in my mentor's footsteps and actually break this blockade. When they block our boats, We'll flood their feeds with footage. No hiding this atrocity. Not at all. And, you know, I've been really focused on celebrity power. And, you know, celebrity powers such as, don't get your hopes up too much for this, but Dr. Shiva's ex-wife, Fran Drescher. But more likely than that, Pam Anderson really, she switched her position on Israel a great deal. She used to be really, because Rabbi Smuley has all the keys, so, he had the keys to Pamela for a bit, talk about how vegan Israel is. No. Pam Anderson kind of realized, in time that she was just being used. But, she was, they were greenwashing the apartheid, and, she was, none the wiser. And that's unfortunate, but, but what I'm really focused on, are the field medics on each ship. Led by Dr. Leah Strauss. Any injured crew civilians receive immediate care. We are here to save lives, not to pick fights. And if we can get doctors shipped to Gaza, even better. Faith really fuels my resolve with this project. And, once we breach the blockade, and I have to have faith that we will, that's a really important word, faith, that we will. Small boats, like the doves, that's what we're kind of, figuring out to call them right now, doves, will ferry aid, ashore. And that's aside from the aid ejectors that I figured out, which is pretty cool. We've got some footage, but I'm only again, like I said, no leaks. When I say footage of the prototype of the ship, and I'm really trying to plan 3, as we said. And but I'm primarily focused on SoH2 Phoenix. If I can get her off the ground, the other 2 will come to me like cutting butter. I really feel so. Anyway, I really have to say, though, that this is no adventure for the faint-hearted. For everyone involved, whether or not you're just helping with setup or ferrying along with me as I charge through. It's a moral imperative. If they shoot at us, we will not only have armor protecting our ships. Our live stream will be our witness. If they detain us, if they can, they'll detain 100,000 voices demanding justice. And if they let us pass, or they fail to stop us, we'll prove that when politicians fail, when world leaders fail, people rise up. And with that, I think I've said my piece for the night. I'm gonna put this on the screen right now. That people can. All right. Email. William at I'm just gonna let the graphic play for a bit. Okay. Good night.